Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Leo Roth, and I'm a research specialist at the Renz Weed Science Lab at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And this is the pre-activity for our first virtual office hours in 2021, which is going to be focused on experimental results for invasive weed management in natural areas. So the Renz Weed Science Lab researches weed management in perennial cropping systems, which for our purposes includes natural areas such as parks, conservation reserve plantings, and prairie restorations. And the weeds in these areas are usually going to be invasive species, which are, for our purposes, non-native plants that cause harm to humans, be that physical or economic. And so why study natural areas at all and weed management in natural areas? Well, because invasive plants in natural areas have negative impacts. For example, buckthorn and honeysuckle can reduce tree seedling regeneration of desirable tree species. Japanese barberry and honeysuckle provide habitat for black-legged and deer ticks, which carry the Lyme disease pathogen. And garlic mustard can inhibit native plant germination through these allelopathic natural herbicides that it puts out through its roots. So these all cause harm to humans, whereas native plants and flowering forb species in natural areas have positive impacts. They contribute habitat to pollinating insects like honeybees. They contribute to plant diversity, and they're an essential component of restored ecosystems. So you may be wondering, what kinds of plants did Renz Weed Science research? In 2020, we focused on native forb species that are common in prairie plantings, such as asters, goldenrods, silphiums, and others. And we specifically were wondering, what is the tolerance of these native forbs to some herbicides that are commonly used for invasive weed management, in case you wanted to spray over the top of these native forbs to control some invasives in that environment. For invasive forbs, we focused on Canada thistle and crown vetch and a few others. And in 2020, for invasive shrubs, we focused on burning bush, autumn olive, and common buckthorn. You may wonder where the research was in 2020. We had a focus in southern Wisconsin, and out of 27 total experiments, we had 17 natural areas experiments, which are going to be those blue sections of the pie wedges, each of which represent a research zone in Wisconsin. And we had a total of 11 collaborators, 4 of which were in the Madison area, and they're all listed below. And you can see we've got representatives from city and county government, from the federal government, from private industry, private farmers, so a whole host of folks. To find out more about these research experiments, you should visit renzweedscience.cals.wisc.edu. That's our lab's homepage, and you'll see this screen where you will want to click on the Research tab in the menu at the top within that yellow circle, where you will then see this drop-down menu, where you will click on the Weed Management Trials tab, which will then take you to the following page, which is our Herbicide Trials landing page. And this has our herbicide research from the last decade or so, where you will then notice the Cropping Systems or Goal tab, which by clicking on, you can sort through different cropping systems, one of which that is relevant is the invasive plant control section. There's also the pastures/CRP/grassland section, which has some studies of interest. And you'll then see on the right side of this table, the reports and executive summaries headings. So the reports are the full summaries of these research reports, and the executive summaries are a more condensed and easy to read format. And so there's a report for every experiment and an executive summary for some of the more recent experiments. You should also visit our virtual office hours, which is this Friday, March 12th, from 12 to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And during the virtual office hours, we are going to cover these topics, but in a lot more depth, where I will walk through some of those reports and executive summaries that I highlighted on the previous slide, and we'll delve into some of the implications that these experiments have for practitioners in the field. So to register for that event, you should visit go.wisc.edu/MIO 391. I hope to see you all there. Thanks.